Acknowledgements. The plan for writing this book originates from 2013, the time when we started Science in Transition. I had been writing essays and book reviews about science and had published some of them in English with Amsterdam University Press in 2012. With the start of the Science in Transition movement, we wrote and talked continuously about science in the broadest possible sense. During my seminars since then, philosophy, sociology and politics of science were admixed with personal experiences that illuminated the analyses of how science works, has gone wrong and what to do about it. Rins Benedictus, MSc in medical biology and long-term science writer, was from the start involved in Science in Transition, and before that as staff member had been working with us on the UMC Utrecht 3.0 strategy 2010 to 2015. From his dual experience, he recognized the journalistic power of mixing theoretical analysis with personal experiences and urged me to write it up or, given my lack of free time, at least contract a professional science writer who could do that with, for me. An important boost to Rins's priming came unexpectedly from Daniel Sarewitz. As I describe in Chapter 6, during a breakfast meeting with Dan Sarewitz and Paul Wouters in January 2017 at Washington, D.C., I told Dan the story of the organizational intervention at UMC Utrecht which prompted the change in our way of research evaluation later on. Sarewitz, being a successful writer himself, immediately said that I should write it up since it demonstrates how evaluations, metrics if you like, follow strategy. Against Rins's advice, I waited until March 2019 when I stepped down from the executive board of UMC Utrecht, trusting that the story I had to tell would still be relevant. I am most grateful to the board of UMC Utrecht and the board of Utrecht University to jointly appoint me, per March 1, 2019, as chairperson of the UU Open Science program, which was an additional inspiration for me to write this book. During the process of writing, but in fact since 1971, I was encouraged by frequent discussions with Sibren Miedema, my brother who is by 4 years my senior and emeritus professor in educational foundations and religious education. The manuscript or parts of it have been read by Sarah de Reyck, René von Schomburg, Anja Smit, Hub Dijsselbloem, Jerome Ravitz, Frank Huisman, Wijnand Meinhardt, Gerard de Vries, Sibren Miedema, Rins Benedictus and Suzanne van Wielden. The members of the Utrecht University Open Science team, Judith de Haan, Tom Pagester, Susanna Bloem and Sicko de Necht I thank for daily discussions and support while I worked on the book. I am indebted to Paul Wouters, Melanie Peters, Albert Meyer, Kees Skyte, Floris Cohen, Stuart Bloom, Berend van de Meulen, Paul Wouters, Hans Chong, Ba van Bavel, Uli Dernagel, Daniel Sarewitz, John Ioannidis, Stephen Goodman, David Maher, members of the UU Ethics Institute, especially Marcus Duwell and Joel Anderson, Patrick Bossoit, Lex Bouter, Joeri Tijdink, staff members of the Athena Institute VU, especially Jacqueline Browers, the WTMC Graduate School, especially Anne Beaulieu, Gowina, especially Martin van der Meer, Margriet Schneider, Wim Kramer, Berend Prakken, Wilfred Ophai, Anna Ritterinkhoff and Arjan Miedema for support and critical constructive discussions and advice.